Man, it sure would be nice if I hit the button. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the March 20th edition of the Makers and Movers podcast. How are you doing today, folks? Today, what are we talking about? We're going to talk about stop selling shirts. We are selling marketing. So start selling marketing. That is what we're going to talk about, because said most, I think a lot of at-home apparel decorators think, that they're in the clothing business, right? They think their job is to print a shirt, to press a logo, to cut some vinyl, and just press it to a shirt, right? And technically, yes, that's part of it. But if that's the way that you position your business to your customers, you are definitely competing with every other decorator in town in every other online print shop on the internet. So we're going to talk about what your customers are actually doing, and what we're doing with this. So if you're first time here or long time here, I need to know who you are in the comments. I need to know who you are, where you're from, what's in your cup, what the weather is like in your area, and then your 5 things. What are 5 things that you are going to accomplish today? It is going to be fantabulous. We had a blizzard on Monday, and today I think we're going to hit like 77. It is amazing outside. We're starting it. Anybody had this? The pink slush, Alani? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I will say that is not too bad at all. As far as our 5 things, we've got a shirt order that needs to get done. We've got supplies that need to get ordered. We've got DTF that needs to go out. We've got orders that need to be pulled and shipped, and we've got meetings. So we've got a busy, busy day ahead of us on this Friday, and hopefully get out to enjoy it because we've got ball this weekend. We've got some trivia this weekend. We've got a good weekend coming up for it. So something else. If you are watching over in YouTube land, or no, if you're not in YouTube land, if you're watching over in Instagram land or TikTok or any of the other places, we're not able to see your comments. So if you want your comments to be seen, there should be a link right in the comments that just came up, so that way we can be able to interact with you. So make sure to get over there and check that out for us. So that way you can see. We'll try and keep an eye on the comments, but for the most part, like Tegan from Perth, hello, good to you. I can't see you. I can't see your comments on there, but I can see them on the other screen. So I can't bring them up here like this. Like, Tim, good morning to you, my friend. Toledo, Ohio, with a monster to drink. Not a monastery, because that'd be weird. Tinning windshield, and then some embroidery, and then maybe some paint before my last 2 window tints at 4. Very nice, very nice. Alania, good morning to you. Happy Friday, yay. Yeah, that's right. It's Friday time. Uh, Dees, good morning. How are you? Barb, good morning. North Central Minnesota, 36 and cloudy. Hot tea in the cup, 5 things. 3D printing, customer pickups, digitizing, laser file layout, and work on the website. Barb's got a busy day. Mr. Lowe, good morning to you. Brian, no ink on cloth. Memories, pride, organization. That's right, buddy. This one's right up your alley. You should just lead this talk, and I'll just sit back. Morning, Tim and Lonnie from Barb, and good morning, the printing goddess. Uh, who finally made it to live? Woo! I made it. You did make it. What's up, Chuck? Good morning to you. Unicorn, good morning to you. Kim, glad you could make it to live. Alex, happy Friday. Some designs for some new stuff. Do most people work a couple of weeks or a couple months out? Who's going to Impressions in Atlantic City this week? All right, let's go through this. It depends. We've got stuff that we're already doing a couple months out for May and June. We've also got stuff that's a couple weeks out from there, and then we have stuff that's about a week out. So we do it all there. No impressions for me this week. George, good morning to you. Let's see. Let's see. There it is, right there. There's Tegan. See, hey, now I see her over here. Hey, team. It's there from Perth. There, I saw it on that one. And good morning, Loma. Good morning to you. All right. So keep your stuff coming. Like I said, if you're watching in over one of the other places, make sure to click the link, and then we can, bring you on. We can bring your at least comments on stage for it. But like I say, here's the truth about apparel decoration business, right? Your customers aren't buying shirts. Huh? What? What? Well, they're not. They're buying visibility. They're buying promotion. They're buying a way to spread their message and to be seen. Whether it's a booster club selling spiritwear, a restaurant ordering staff shirts, or even a local roofing company, getting hoodies printed for their crew. The clothing itself is just the delivery vehicle. Now, once you understand that shift, it can kind of change the entire way that you sell. You stop sounding like someone who's trying to sell shirts, and you start sounding like someone who's helping organizations grow, promote themselves, and then raise money. Right? That difference is huge because it moves you from being a vendor to being a very valuable partner to them. And so today we'll walk through 5 ways, to start thinking and selling apparel as marketing instead of just clothing. When I feel like when decorators can make that shift, that something powerful can happen. Customers can reorder more, budgets can get bigger, and those relationships become long term instead of just that one time order. So, what do you think? You ready to jump right into it? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments how you handle this. We got tips, you get the questions, you put the answers in there. I want you to be super interactive today. Help me out. Make sure to like and subscribe and share wherever any of the stuff is. Do that. Sharing is caring. Spread the move. Spread it out there. All right. So, number one, let's position apparel as promotion, not just merchandise. I think one of the biggest mindset shifts that decorators can make is realizing that apparel is one of the most affordable marketing tools a business or organization can buy. I bet Brian has the numbers handy in his head that can tell me, what that cost per thing is. When someone wears a shirt with a company logo, that shirt becomes a walking billboard that can be seen by hundreds, even thousands of times. A $12 printed shirt can easily generate, more exposure than a $200 newspaper ad or, a boosted social post. I think a lot of decorators, accidentally undersell this value because they focus on the conversation of the garment itself. They talk about, the shirt makeup, what they're ring spun 50/50, whatever it is with it, colors, different types of decorations, embroidery, what are we doing with it? And while all of those details really do matter for production, they're not necessarily the primary reason that customers are buying the product. What customers care about is how the apparel helps them promote their brand, their team, or their event. When you start framing apparel as marketing, customers begin seeing the purchase differently. Instead of asking, "Hey, how cheap can we get these?" They start thinking, "Hey, how many people will see our logo, and how many people will actually want to wear this?" That small shift, the conversation, that small shift from the conversation from cost to impact, and that that is much healthier place for a decorator to operate. So, example one, all right, landscaping company. They ordered 20 shirts for their crew. Instead of simply just quoting the shirts, decorator explained how every time their team is working in someone's yard, the neighbor sees the company logo. Decorator points out that if each worker is seen by 20 people a day, that's 100 impressions every week. Suddenly, those shirts aren't just uniforms, they're local advertising. Another example, uh, a youth baseball league wants spiritwear for parents and players. Instead of presenting it as just fan gear, Decorator explains that when families wear their shirts to school events, grocery stores, and community activities, it promotes the league and it helps recruit new players. That shirt becomes a way to build pride and visibility in the community. So, action step for this is the next time you quote apparel for a customer, let's just add one simple sentence. These shirts are actually one of the most affordable ways for you to advertise your organization. Now, I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and then I'm going to paste it down here so that way you guys have it and can see it, and then we can move on to two. So that way we have it. All right. Number two, all right. Let's help customers use apparel to grow their audience. When decorators think like marketers, they start helping customers think strategically about apparel instead of just placing orders for shirts. Instead of simply asking, "Hey, how many shirts do you want?" You start asking better questions. And questions like, Who will be wearing these? Where will they be wearing them? And what message do you want people to remember when they see them? These questions, well, they help customers realize that apparel can do way more than just clothe people with their logo. It can help organizations grow their reach. A shirt in public spreads awareness. A hoodie worn around town introduces people to a brand. A spiritwear design seen at school events, those remind people that a team or club exists. Now, I feel like, at home decorators have a huge advantage here because you're usually working directly with the decision makers. You're talking with the team moms, the PTO leaders, the small business owners, and the community organizers. And those conversations, well, those create opportunities to guide customers towards smarter apparel decisions that are going to increase their exposure. When you help customers think about how apparel spreads this message, you really move into a consultative role. Instead of being the person who just takes order, you now become the person who helps organizations grow. So, example on this, a booster club plans to sell shirts at a football game fundraiser. Instead of offering only one design, decorators suggest creating two designs, one bold design for students and one simple logo for parents. This allows the booster club to appeal to more people, increase the number of shirts seen around town. Another example, local coffee shop orders staff shirts. Decorator recommends that the shop adds Instagram handles on their logo so customers who see employees working events or walking around town can easily find the business online. That small design change that turns the shirt into a social media marketing tool. So, for this action step, start asking every apparel customer just one extra question. Who will be wearing these? And then use their answer to suggest the way the apparel could promote their organization more effectively. All right. Number three is let's design apparel that makes people want to wear it. Now, the best marketing tool in the world is the kind that people actually want to wear. A shirt sitting in a drawer does zero for an organization it represents. But a shirt someone loves wearing, well, that becomes a powerful marketing tool that spreads the brand everywhere this person goes. And this is where you bring real value to your customers. You understand trends in apparel styles and prints and sizes and colors and design aesthetics that customers may not think about. When you help create designs, that people when you help create designs that people really like and pick a shirt that is comfortable and that they like wearing, that apparel becomes part of someone's everyday wardrobe and just instead of something that they just wear once. And for spiritwear and team, apparel especially, quality plays a massive role in marketing impact. When the design looks good, when the shirt feels good, when it's comfortable and stylish, people wear it more often and they wear it proudly to school events, to grocery stores, to gyms, weekend activities around town. Every time they wear it, they promote that team or organization. And this is one of the most powerful ways that decorators can help their customers succeed. By creating apparel that people love, you will dramatically increase how often that apparel gets seen. So, example is, a high school theater club ordered shirts for the spring musical. Instead of just some basic text on a basic shirt, you know, decorator created a vintage style graphic and a more upscale shirt to by the school's theme. Students loved the design and loved the shirt and wore the shirt long after the production ended, spreading awareness about the theater program. Another example, youth soccer league wanted shirts for parents. Instead of just the standard logo and the standard shirt, hey, they picked out something that was a big, bold back graphic with a team mascot in the ear on a ring spun shirt. Customers wear or parents wear the shirts to games, errands, community events because the design looks great and it looks like something you would buy at a retail store. So, for this action step, before approving the next order, ask yourself one question. Would someone, you, wear this even if you weren't required to? Right? If the answer is no, then hey, let's do what needs to do to fix that so that way it becomes something that people would choose to wear. All right. Before we get into 4 and 5, let's check back in with the comments. Let's see. Alani's got empty cup 38 outside. Too many things to do, but I got this. Love it. Love it. You got this. Yeah, you do. Tegan, I love building relationships and friendships and seeing others grow makes my heart smile. Absolutely. I want everyone that we work with for their business to do 10 times what our business does. You know, everybody here should have $1 million businesses. Everybody here should have $5 million businesses. Everybody here should have $10 million businesses. If you want them, you don't have to have them if you don't want them, but we definitely want to do that. These is ready. Debbie, good morning to you as well. Can I get some bling today? What do you want, George? What do you want? You tell me. And bling everything, right? That's what I say, bling it. 9:40 in Perth. So yeah, like they're like 13 hours ahead of us. And Brian, I knew Brian would come through. 3 cents per view over lifetime of a shirt or hoodie. Love it. Travis been talking a long time since I checked you out in Branson, Missouri. 88 degrees yesterday and same today. It's wild, right? TV ads are 70 cents per view. So think about that. What I never understand is why landscaping t-shirts have the advertising on the front instead of the back. That's where most people see them when they're working. And that's where you come in and you can tell them left chest logo for here, big on the back. And here's why. That's where we are the experts in this. We do it that way. And we have some that, because it's cheaper, only one side printing, they'll just do back. They won't have anything on the front. They just have it on the back. Tinkin says, I gave my local church 5 designs of the one scripture. The pastor lost his mind. See, you gave them options. Love it. Alex, just a great idea. I have a flaming gay gardener in my area. Wow. Uh, usually make him the brightest pink shirt with his logo and something a gay motto. Going to make him a pink shirt blinged out to see what he says. But if he likes bling, he'll love it. But everybody loves bling. I think everybody loves bling, right? All right. Let's get back into 5 and C. No, we got 4 and 5. We got 4 and 5. I was like 5 and 6. Let's go back into 4 and 5. All right. So tip 4 is let's turn apparel orders into ongoing marketing campaigns. Now, what does that mean? Well, many decorators will treat every apparel order as just a single transaction. The customer orders shirts, the decorator produces them, and then the relationship ends until the next random order comes along. But when you view apparel as marketing, each order becomes part of a larger promotional strategy. Business and organizations rarely promote themselves only once. They promote events, they promote seasons, they promote fundraising, they promote new products and milestones throughout the entire year. And apparel can play a role in many of those moments if you, the decorator, positions yourself as a long-term partner instead of just that one-time vendor. Now for small decorators, recurring apparel opportunities really are everywhere. Seasonal sports teams need new designs each year. Booster clubs run fundraisers every season. Businesses refresh staff apparel as teams grow. If you help customers see apparel as an ongoing marketing tool, these opportunities are just going to naturally multiply. Now, this mindset transforms the relationship with the customer. Instead of waiting for orders, you start helping customers plan future apparel that supports their marketing efforts. So, some examples of this. A youth baseball league runs a spiritwear store. At the end of the season, director suggests launching a fall hoodie fundraiser for families. Because the league already trusts the decorator, they happily run another store that generates additional fundraising revenue. Another example, local HVAC company orders shirts for their technicians. A few months later, decorator reaches out and suggests winter beanies with with the company logo. Those beanies keep employees warm while also promoting the business during colder months. So, action step for this is let's just make a simple list of your top 10 apparel customers and brainstorm 2 future apparel ideas for each one that could help promote their organization later in the year. All right. Finally, 5. 5, 5, 5. Let's teach customers how apparel can make them money. Well, what's that? Well, one of the most powerful ways to position apparel as marketing is by helping customers understand that they can generate revenue. There are many organizations, especially schools, clubs, and nonprofits that rely heavily on fundraising to support their activities. And apparel can become one of the easiest and most effective ways for them to raise funds. When decorators help organizations use apparel as fundraisers, that conversation changes dramatically. Now, instead of worrying about spending money, customers begin thinking about how apparel can help bring them money in. That shift, well, that makes them far more excited about running spiritwear stores, team merchandise campaigns, and community sales than ever before. And an at-home apparel decorator, are in a great position to support these fundraising efforts because you operate on a smaller scale. You can offer flexible solutions like online stores, pre-order campaigns, or limited time sales with quick, fast turnaround time. These options, well, they make it easier for organizations to launch apparel promotions without any large upfront cost. Helping customers make money, well, that builds trust in long-term relationships. When an organization sees that apparel sales help them fund equipment, travel, or events, they naturally come back to the decorator who helped them succeed. So, example of this, middle school band program wants new uniforms but lacks the budgets. Decorators suggest running a band spiritwear store for 2 weeks, sharing the profits with the program. Parents, students, and relatives buy shirts and hoodies, and they help generate funds to cover the equipment costs. Another example, youth softball league. Well, they want to upgrade field equipment. Decorator helps them launch a preseason apparel fundraiser shirt, a preseason fundraising apparel featuring shirts, hoodies, and hats. Because families are excited about supporting the league, that campaign raised thousands of dollars while increasing community pride. So, action step for this is let's identify one school, one team, or one organization that you already work with and just suggest running a 2 week spiritwear fundraiser to help them raise some money while promoting their program. All right. Now, to recap all this, we're going to bring everything together. All right. You need to stop thinking of yourself as someone who sells shirts. And you need to start thinking of yourself as someone who helps organizations promote themselves. And, there are 5 ways to do it. Well, position apparel as promotional instead of merchandise. Help customers use apparel to grow their audience. Design apparel people actually want to wear. You know, turn orders into ongoing marketing opportunities. And 5, let's show customers how apparel can generate fundraising revenue. When we make this shift, something powerful can happen. Customers stop seeing you just as another print shop, and they start seeing you as someone who helps their organization grow. If you're, running your apparel business, from home or for a shop, doesn't matter. This mindset can completely change the trajectory of your business because once customers realize that you help them promote their brand, their team, or their organization, they're going to stop shopping around for the cheapest shirt and they're going to come back to the person who helped them succeed. So, the next time you talk to a customer, just remember this simple idea. You are not selling shirts. You are helping people spread their message. And hey, when you help people spread their message, you really should never run out of customers who want to work with you. That's what we have for you today on this edition of Makers and Movers podcast. Remember, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure to go like and subscribe and share and do all that. Now, questions, comments, concerns, put them down in here for this. And I said, make sure to turn on the bell. And, if you really want more in-depth training, especially like on the design side of things, consider becoming a member. It's right up there. We'll get you some stuff for it. Let's see. Alani says, I'm a minimalist, but for designs for customers, people like Boulder. Yeah. And that was one of the big shifts for me. It doesn't matter what I like. 1000% does not matter what I like. What does the customers want? And what do the people want? That's where it comes down to. Right there, not just apparel. You could upsell from there water bottles, trucker hats, hoodies, tumblers, stickers, banners, car decals, yard signs. The list goes on and on and on. Ooh, this is good stuff. Thanks for sharing. Love it. So see you Monday, Wednesday, Friday night. Show up here. We're right here. This question: would you market yourself as a promoter marketer? Yeah. I mean, why not? Like, when you look at it, that's what you are. Is you are a marketer. You are helping them get their message out, which is you do more than just shirts. I for the longest time was T-shirt Todd. It was whatever. Hey, if you need shirts, you go to Todd. But we did so much more than that: signs, banners, decals, magnets. Oh, I didn't know you did that. Okay, that's what we got. You're the first person I said that I could have a multi-million-dollar business. How can I do this? Right now, I'm zero. Work, hustle. That's what it takes. Like when you really look at like a $1 million business is what is it? 370 dollars a day. Is that right? Let me do some quick math on it. And it's consistency, 100% consistency. But 1 million divided by 365 days. Is that right? Oh, it's 2,000. What do I? Oh, 2,000. Because I was going back the other way. So you need to sell $2,700, $2,800 a day. Is it going to be tough? Yeah. Are you going to need people? Yeah. Are you going to need systems? Yes. You're going to need help? 100%. Can you do it? Absolutely. Happens every day. Do you need to be a $1 million business? That's on you. Hey, you can be, think about it. You can be $100,000 business and bring in great margins, pay yourself well, and do good. 150,000, same way. 250,000, great. You can do it. It just depends on what you want to do. Now, we know $1 million screen printing businesses, $5 million screen businesses, $10 million and plus, and they have systems in place. They have staff in place. They are not all doing it by themselves. But they didn't wake up one day and say, "Hey, I'm gonna I'm gonna do this." They fell into it. They worked at it. They didn't just have $1 million business. You have to do it. But do you need it? That's on you. $1 million business is $1 million business problems. You know, your orders are going to be longer. Your timelines are going to be tighter. You are going to have, more upfront cost on things. When we got started, remember, the first couple orders spending, $1,000 on supplies. Oh, now when you get a PO and it's like a $30,000 PO, it just the risks are there. So you can do it, but do you really need to do it? Like, what are your goals? What does doing $1 million business do? We know $1 million businesses who make less money, bring in less profit than $100,000 business because their margins are so tight. So it really depends on what do you want to do. Alex, here's your great one. To get your CPA to sharpen his pencil. Can I write off a portion of my clothing I will sell with my company logo? Vision C, lower right hand corner. My guy would go for it. Yeah, because it's a marketing expense. Pretty sure marketing expense. Yeah, marketing expense. Brand new. Just got my silhouette cameo. Made my first order with you the other day. Richard from Muscatine. Oh, you're just down the road from us. Feel like I'm supporting a local business, even though I live elsewhere. Love it. Yeah, we're here. We got a lot going on. We got a lot going on with we don't know if we're gonna open a storefront or just using it for production facility for now. We had some things happen yesterday that kind of like wild. So we'll see where it comes, but we got a lot going on with it. Loved how you explained that. So good. Thank you. T-shirt Todd, that's right. And and this thing is like we all had this, $100,000. $100,000 is basically $300, a day. And what does that work out to? All right. Well, if you're selling, a $35 hoodie, you only have to sell what, 8 hoodies? 8 hoodies a day puts you there for it. Sell a couple packages, but you have to get out there and do it. Business just isn't going to show up. No amount of just sitting there with twiddling your thumbs. Where's everybody at? You have to go out there and hustle. If you're not doing that, somebody else will. And you don't need to grow. Like there are plenty of people that are in that $50,000 to $200,000 sales. They're perfectly happy with it, and they don't want to grow. They don't need to be any bigger because they grow. They're going to need to bring in more employees. If they grow, they're going to have to do bigger systems. If they grow, they're going to need a bigger space or more equipment or a multitude of other things that come along with it. Some are just doing it. Hey, this is just a side gig for me, so that way it pays for my daughter's dance, my son's softball, my kid's hockey. Hey, this pays for our vacation. This pays for, the extra money bring in for this. I'm using it for my kids' college fund. You do not need to be $100,000, $1 million, $5 million business to be successful. Successful is in your eyes. Are you bringing in what you need to be happy? Absolutely. That's where it comes down to. But you want to make sure that you have processes in place so you are making money. Here in Illinois, if you're making, less than $15 an hour when you do your math, go work at McDonald's. $15 an hour is minimum wage. You're getting insurance, you're getting meals. So make sure you value yourself and your worth on it. All right. Okay, with that, we're going to wrap this up today. Let me know in the comments. Good show, good talk. Anything else that you have in there, put it in here, and that way you can put the things in there and go from it. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, put it in here. All right, until next time, you guys have an amazing day. Peace, love, press on, and we will see you then.